Hello, my name is Mrs. Parker, and I have a slightly unique perspective on our new SRG grading system because I am both a teacher and a parent. So I have been tasked today with walking you through ParentVue and hopefully trying to explain to you what our new scores mean, as well as how you can look at ParentVue and understand what you are seeing in ParentVue. So I'm going to share with you a PowerPoint. And here is our presentation. And so our presentation is all about SRGs and ParentVue. The possible scores that a student might receive on any given assignment are on this page. So you might see a 0 with no evidence after it, and usually that no evidence is in red letters, and that means that the student did not attempt the work. So basically we got either no work back, or the work was turned in blank, or something that was completely not related to the actual answer. There was nothing there. The student didn't even try it. That would be a 0 with no evidence. You might also see a 0 with no evidence absent in red after it. That means that the student was absent and the student has some makeup work that they haven't done yet. If you see a score of a 0, what that means is that the student attempted the work, but even with help, they still really couldn't solve the problems or do the work successfully. If you see a 1, that means the student needed help, but they were successful in completing the task. If you see a 2, that means they're working on foundational skills towards being at grade level standard. If you see a 3, that means the student met that grade level standard. And if you see a 4, that means that the student is working on applying that standard beyond the expectations at that grade level. Now, why is this important? This is important because we are no longer going to give a grade on an assignment and walk away. We are, as teachers, we are grading students to mastery of a specific standard in that class. So if a student is getting a 1 or a 2, then the teacher will be coming back around to that standard and trying to give your student multiple opportunities to get up to a 3 and a 4. Why this is important now is because as we enter into a school year, it is not reasonable for us to expect our students to get a level 3. Okay, a 6th grader should not be walking into 6th grade and knowing all of the skills and standards needed for a 6th grader. Our goal is for them to get to a 3 by the end of the semester. So what that means is right now, as we're looking at the end of the quarter, it is perfectly reasonable for your students to be at a level 2, maybe even at a level 1. But our goal is for them to eventually get to a level 3 in January when our semester ends. Now the problem comes in that as we look at Synergy and as we're looking at our ParentVue, which is what Synergy is for parents, is called ParentVue, there is a letter grade attached to their scores. However, you have to know that that letter grade is expected to grow and change a lot over the next 9 weeks. So if a student is getting a 1 or a 2 right now, that means they're probably somewhere in the C to D level as far as the actual letter grade, and that's okay, because we would not expect necessarily most students that are coming into our building as 6th graders for the first time, or 7th graders or 8th graders for the first time. They're not going to be at mastery of their standards until we get to the end of the semester. So with that in mind, that's a big shift in our mindset as parents. I want to take a look at ParentVue. Now there are 2 ways that you can get to ParentVue. One is through the browser version, which is what I'm going to share with you first, and the other is the mobile app, and I'll go through that second. If you do not know how to get to the browser version, it is on the 259 website, but here I just actually searched ParentVue and I found it. And so the website is here. It's parentvue.usd259.net. Now, once you're there, it's going to ask you to sign in. You'll have to say that you're a parent, and you'll sign in with your ParentVue information. This is the exact same information you use to enroll online. So, because this is the exact same program that we use. But what you want to do is you want to click on Gradebook, and it should be on the left-hand side. Now, when you click on Gradebook, it is going to bring up the subjects, and it's going to have a letter grade. But again, I say to you, if your teacher is using SRG, letter grade really doesn't mean a lot. If you look under that letter grade, there is a number score. That really is most important when we're looking at SRGs, at our standard reference grading. Now, if you don't know if your teacher is using SRGs, then this number score will not be there. It will probably be a percentage. It won't be a 3.29. The other thing you have to know is as teachers, if we feel like a student is maybe in between a 2 and a 3, they're kind of working close to being at grade level standards, but they're not quite there yet, we can give them a 2.5. So that's why some of these scores look a little funny, is because they're averaging not just whole scores, but also decimal points. Once you've clicked on Gradebook, the next thing that you want to do is you want to actually open up one of the subjects. So here I clicked on Social Studies. Now in Social Studies, it's going to bring up Assignment View first. And really, again, that's not helpful, especially as in this student, which is a 6th grader. They aren't given assignment scores. All of their scores are SRGs. So what we have to do is we actually have to go up to the upper right-hand corner and we have to click on Standard View. Okay, so click on Standard View and then you're going to see something kind of more like this. What we can see now is the standards that the teacher has actually graded on. It will tell you what score they were at. So this student got a 3, a 3.5, and a 3.5. And then it will show you out of 4 where they sit. Now, if you open up and click on one of the standards, you'll actually see, like here I'm opening up Analyze the Context and Draw Conclusions about Choices and Consequences. When I click on that, I see the different assignments that went with that standard. And I can see how this student scored a 3.5 on their Mesopotamia quiz and a 2.5 on Hammurabi's Codes of Law. Now, as I'm looking at this, I notice that the 2.5 score actually came first. It came on October 12th. And then on October 23rd, the student scored a 3.5. And that, as a parent, is what I want to reward. I want to reward growth. I don't care what their letter grade is anymore. I'm looking at, are they getting close to a 3? Are they growing and are they learning? That's what we're most worried about, not letter grades now. Now, let's say, okay, so I see that in social studies they have pretty good scores, and I want to look at something else. Well, first of all, please make sure you're in the right grading period. So here I'm making sure that I'm in quarter 1 to see what her quarter 1 scores are. And then when you go back, you can actually choose different classes. Here up at the top, there's a drop-down box. This one says I'm in class Social Studies 6. If I click on that little arrow, it actually drops down and it shows me all of the different classes that I can click on, and I can maneuver from class to class right here and see how my student is scoring in all of the different classes. Just make sure that you remain in standard view, not in assignment view, because most of our teachers are using our standards or our scales to actually grade students now. The last thing that I want to show you in the browser version is the report card. You will no longer be getting an emailed or printed off copy of a progress report. So you're going to need to actually click on the report card tab, and it will come up with a PDF file for your progress report for this 9 weeks. All right, so I know a lot of us probably use the mobile app. You can find it in your app store. Here, I just searched ParentVue in my app store and it came up. It looked like this, and mine actually needed to be updated, but it came up in my app store. When you're in ParentVue, the app, it looks a little different than the browser version. On the left-hand side, you'll see a menu, and about the fourth one down or so is going to be your report card towards the end. But what we really want to look at, this is where we would get our report card information. What we want to look at first is the grades, and that's about the third one down. When you click on grades, you will see again the list of the classes that the student is in, and then it's going to have the letter grade and the score for the scale. Again, the letter grade I'm not worried as much about. I want to see the scale score and make sure that they're getting close to a 3. Really, if they're getting a 2 right now at the end of the first 9 weeks, that's okay because they are going to grow to a 3 by the end of the semester. Now, the standards view on the mobile app is a little different. It will be up towards the top. So after I've clicked on the subject that I want to look at, it will list all of the assignments. But up at the top, there are 2 buttons. There's assignment view and standard view. Please make sure that you're clicking on standard view. And when you do so, then it will come up with your standards and it will show their grade for that standard. If you click on a specific standard, then it shows you the assignments that were given for that standard. Again, remember, we are not going to be emailing report cards to you this 9 weeks. Please go into your ParentVue app and click on report card to see a PDF version of your student's progress report. All right, I hope that was helpful and that you learned a little bit about ParentVue and how best to understand your students' scores. Really keep in mind that the number is more important than the letter grade, and also that this is a growth model and that we're expecting that when students walk into our building at the beginning of the year, they're probably going to be at a level 1 or level 2, but by the end of the first semester, we want to see them growing closer towards that 3. And definitely by the end of the year, we would like to see our students scoring 3 at all of their subjects. So I hope that helped. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we will see you later. Bye.